Hello, m'ladies of inestimable value. You don't lose her when she's angry. You lose her when she goes silent. There's a certain type of woman who doesn't scream, doesn't throw plates, and won't post cryptic quotes on Instagram when you cross the line. She doesn't do public scenes or emotional explosions. She simply shuts the door so quietly you don't realize you've been locked out until you're yelling at it from the other side. She is the Sigma female, the woman who doesn't handle disrespect the usual way because she doesn't need to. In fact, according to studies in behavioral psychology, emotionally independent individuals are more likely to respond to disrespect with strategic silence and calculated detachment than confrontation. Translation: while you're trying to push her buttons, she's already uninstalling your existence, emotionally, mentally, and energetically. And the best part? She does it with grace, and just the right amount of detachment to make you second-guess whether you ever mattered at all. So if you think disrespecting a Sigma female gets you a reaction, think again. This isn't a reality show. She's not auditioning for the role of angry woman. She's producing her own series, called You No Longer Exist. Let's dive into how Sigma females handle disrespect. And spoiler alert, it's not what you think. It's smarter. It's colder. It's lethal. Number 1, she doesn't clap back. She deletes access. She doesn't clap back. She deletes access, and she does it like it's a reflex. No drama, no announcement, no need to prove a point. One moment you're in her life, and the next, it's like the Wi-Fi cut off, and you've been disconnected from her entire system. Not because she's petty, but because she knows something most people don't. Attention is power, and she's not about to hand hers over to someone who just disrespected her. You won't get a screaming match or a lengthy message about how you messed up. That's not her style. She doesn't need to bark to prove she has teeth. She'll just quietly strip you of the privilege of access. And here's the catch. At first, you won't even notice. She'll still say hey, maybe even smile politely. But slowly, you'll realize the temperature dropped. The energy shifted. You're no longer part of her inner world, and that door isn't just closed, it's sealed. While most people argue to be heard, the Sigma female chooses something far more powerful: removal. And it cuts deeper than any insult ever could. Because what do you do when someone doesn't argue with you, but instead makes you irrelevant? She knows that disrespect thrives off reaction. The more you scream, the more power you give it. But if you refuse to even acknowledge it, you starve it. And that's her method. She starves the disrespect. She starves the person behind it. You get nothing from her. No access to her energy, her time, her loyalty, her softness, her brilliance. You get silence, and not the kind that's passive-aggressive, the kind that ends things. This is what makes her different. She knows her value isn't up for debate, and she won't let someone's bad behavior drag her into a performance she never signed up for. So while others are clapping back and trying to win the argument, she's already done. You don't even know you've been cut off until you reach for her and find nothing. Just distance. Cold, clean, final. That's not weakness. That's a masterclass in control. Number 2, she investigates the source, not just the symptom. When someone disrespects a Sigma female, she doesn't just focus on what was said, she zooms out and studies why it was said. She doesn't waste time reacting to the surface-level insult. Her mind goes deeper. She's not wondering, did they just disrespect me? She's asking, where did that come from and what does it say about them? This is what makes her dangerous in the most quiet and unsettling way. She doesn't just hear the words, she reads the psychology behind them. Instead of fighting fire with fire, she starts analyzing patterns. Is this person always passive-aggressive? Do they act out around people they can't control? Is this about her, or is this about their own buried insecurity? While most people are trying to defend themselves, she's mentally profiling the situation like she's collecting evidence. Because to her, disrespect is never random. It's either coming from unresolved ego, jealousy, entitlement, or emotional immaturity. So instead of reacting emotionally, she makes decisions with clarity. She'll figure out whether this was a one-time slip or a glimpse into someone's true character. And if it's the latter, she's out. Not because she's holding a grudge, but because she refuses to keep people around who confuse access with entitlement. The disrespect isn't what hurts her. It's what reveals everything she needs to know about the person in front of her. She doesn't get flustered or jump into defense mode. She sits back and takes mental notes. You think you threw her off, but all you did was expose yourself. She understands something most people miss. Disrespect is usually a symptom of something deeper, and rather than patching up the surface, she traces it all the way back to the root. And once she sees the root, there's no going back. You can apologize, you can act sweet. But if she's uncovered something off in your foundation, she won't feel safe around you anymore. She won't yell, she won't explain. She just exits, with the peace of someone who knows they're protecting themselves from a slow, emotional leak that would have drained her eventually. She doesn't punish you, she studies you, and then makes the cleanest cut of your life. Number 3, she won't outburst, she'll outgrow. A Sigma female won't explode, scream, or break things when someone disrespects her. That's not her lane. She won't cause a scene or try to make you feel small in return. What she does instead is far more powerful. She simply outgrows the space where the disrespect happened. She evolves past it, past you, past the nonsense. And by the time you realize what you did, she's already gone, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. She understands that outbursts might feel good in the moment, but they rarely solve anything. Shouting back won't change who someone is. Getting into a back and forth only drags her into the same energy she's trying to rise above, and she has no interest in staying stuck in that loop. So she distances herself, not just from the person, but from the version of herself that tolerated being treated like that. She doesn't need a dramatic ending to walk away. No door slamming, no loud exits, just quiet growth that leaves you watching her from behind. Her silence isn't weakness. It's a signal that she's stepped into a higher level, one where you no longer fit. And she won't explain it either. She's not going to waste words justifying her growth to someone who didn't respect her enough in the first place. People think if someone doesn't react, they weren't hurt. That's the mistake. She was hurt. But instead of breaking down, she builds up. She becomes sharper, wiser, harder to reach. She upgrades her standards, her space, her energy, and she does it without saying a word. She doesn't return the disrespect. She just makes sure it never gets the chance to happen again. And here's what stings the most for the person who disrespected her. She glows harder after the disrespect. Her life improves. She becomes quieter, classier, more focused. Not because she's trying to prove a point, but because she's finally done shrinking herself to fit in places that were never built for her. She won't throw a fit, she'll level up. And the most savage part? She'll do it so naturally it'll look like she was never hurt at all. That's her revenge. Growth so real it makes your disrespect look like a joke. Number 4. She'll still be polite, but she's already gone. She'll still be polite. She might even smile, hold the door, or say, "Have a good day." But don't let that fool you. She's already gone. A Sigma female knows how to keep things graceful on the outside even when she's made a full exit on the inside. That's her genius. While everyone else is waiting for some dramatic fallout or emotional meltdown, she's already switched off the part of herself that cared. Quietly, efficiently, permanently. She doesn't believe in lowering herself to pettiness or creating awkward scenes. That's not her energy. She handles disrespect with elegance, but make no mistake, it's not forgiveness, it's closure. She's being polite because her dignity stays intact, no matter how ugly someone else behaves. You may think you're still in her good books because she hasn't blocked you, cursed you out, or ghosted you completely. But if you pay attention, the warmth is gone. The depth is gone. You've been downgraded and you didn't even see it happen. A Sigma female doesn't need to be rude to create space. Her withdrawal is silent but sharp. You won't see her begging for respect or asking for explanations. She doesn't argue with disrespect. She replaces connection with distance. She replaces engagement with detachment. And all the while she's still calm, still composed, still kind. But emotionally she's miles away. She's mastered the art of disappearing without leaving the room. Her responses become shorter. Her tone gets neutral. Her eyes don't light up around you anymore. It's not an attitude. It's the exit process. And once she's emotionally checked out, Nothing you say can pull her back in. Not apologies, not charm, not guilt. The thing about a Sigma female is that she knows her peace is more valuable than being right or being loud. So instead of fighting to prove she deserves respect, she leaves the space where it's missing. Respect isn't something she demands. It's something she walks away to find somewhere else. And she won't announce the departure. She'll do it with a straight back, a calm voice, and a smile that says, "This version of me is no longer available to you." Politeness isn't her weakness. It's her signature exit move. Number 5. She doesn't seek revenge. She lets karma borrow her hands. She doesn't waste time trying to get even. A Sigma female knows that life has a strange way of returning energy to people, good or bad. So when someone disrespects her, she doesn't plot revenge. She doesn't try to humiliate you or get the last word. Instead, she lets karma do its thing. But here's the twist. Sometimes karma moves too slow, so it borrows her hands. And when that happens, the results are cold, clean, and unforgettable. She doesn't hit back impulsively, no messy drama, no attention-seeking posts, no emotional games. She watches. She observes. And if the universe places an opportunity in front of her to return what you dished out, she won't hesitate to serve it, gracefully. You won't even know it's revenge. It'll feel like life just turned on you. But in truth, she simply allowed things to unfold. She didn't force it. She aligned with it. Sigma females don't carry around grudges. They carry lessons. When someone disrespects them, they don't stay stuck in the pain. They upgrade, they rise, and they wait. Not because they're hoping to watch someone fail, but because they understand that everyone eventually runs into the consequences of who they are. And when those consequences come knocking, she'll be the last person you can call for help. She won't make a show of it. She'll stay quiet, focused, and grounded. But deep down, she knows exactly how energy works. She knows that disrespect comes back to people, not always fast, but always on time. And sometimes, she's the one holding the door open for karma to walk through. What really stings is that she doesn't lift a finger to destroy you, but your own actions start to destroy themselves. People leave. Opportunities dry up. Things stop working. And then it clicks. You disrespected the wrong woman, the one who didn't fight back but moved smarter, the one who didn't explode but expanded, the one who didn't seek revenge, yet somehow you still lost everything you had with her. She doesn't wish you harm. She just allows life to balance the scale. And when karma finally circles back, she's already so far ahead the echo of your disrespect can't even reach her anymore. Number 6. She's not trying to teach you a lesson. She simply leaves you behind. She's not here to fix you, teach you, or make you better. When someone disrespects a Sigma female, she doesn't turn into a life coach trying to guide you towards self-awareness. She doesn't break herself down trying to explain why your behavior was hurtful. She simply removes herself. She doesn't stick around hoping you'll realize your mistake. She leaves because she already knows you won't. She's not interested in changing people. That's not her mission. She knows that disrespect isn't about a bad day or a slip-up. It's a mindset, a pattern. And she's not about to babysit grown adults who haven't learned basic emotional decency. That kind of work is exhausting, and she's done playing emotional therapist to people who should know better. The second you show her who you are, she believes it, and then she leaves you behind. There's no big speech, no second chances, and no slow fade. She disconnects fully. If you hurt her, she won't retaliate. She'll just stop offering you the best parts of her, her time, her attention, her care, all gone. Not as a punishment, but as a boundary. You don't get to stay in her world and keep disrespecting it. What people often misunderstand is that she doesn't leave to hurt you. She leaves to protect herself. She values her energy too much to waste it on someone who's already shown they don't value her presence. She doesn't need to slam the door or yell on her way out. She just stops showing up. You look around one day and realize you're talking to a version of her that's already checked out. You didn't just lose her. You lost access to the real, deep, loyal version of her that most people never get to see. And the harsh truth? She doesn't wait for you to change. She doesn't sit in hope. She moves on. Fast, clean, quiet. Because she understands that lessons are for students, and she's not interested in enrolling people who didn't ask to learn. She has no interest in dragging anyone into growth. She just grows without them. And once she's gone, she never looks back. Not because she's cold, but because she finally chose herself. Number 7. She disrespects disrespect by living unbothered. When someone disrespects a Sigma female, she doesn't scream or argue. She doesn't even raise her voice. What she does is far more powerful. She completely disrespects the disrespect by acting like it never touched her. That's her move. She stays calm, unbothered, and steady. It's not that she didn't notice. She noticed everything. But instead of letting it shake her, she makes the boldest statement of all. It's not even worth her reaction. She knows how to starve low energy. Disrespect needs attention to survive. It wants a reaction, a fight, a rise, but she won't feed it. She doesn't reward bad behavior with her time. The moment you cross the line, she emotionally detaches. You'll never get to see her fall apart over your words or actions. You might expect her to snap or throw shade, but instead, she'll move through her day like nothing happened. And that's what gets under your skin. People think they're powerful when they can get a reaction. But what happens when the person you tried to provoke doesn't flinch? That's what breaks the ego. That's what makes people realize they lost something they couldn't control. Sigma females don't do dramatic breakdowns. They do silent exits. They do energy redirection. She'll take the hit, absorb the lesson, and still walk away with her head high. She doesn't give disrespect a seat at her table. She doesn't entertain it, validate it, or let it live rent-free in her mind. If anything, she uses it as a reminder of how far she's come, because a woman like her doesn't need revenge. She just needs space. And once she gives you that space, you'll realize how cold the world feels without her presence in it. The worst part for the one who disrespected her? She'll look like she's doing better without you. She'll laugh, grow, glow, and thrive, all while acting like the disrespect never even existed. That's not pretending. That's power. When she stays unbothered in the face of insult, it's not because she's numb. It's because she's mastered the art of protecting her peace. And her peace is priceless. Number 8. She'll let you think you won, while you're losing access to her world. She'll let you think you won. She won't argue, she won't defend herself, and she won't explain why you are out of line. In fact, she might even let you walk away feeling proud, thinking you got the last word or made your point. That's the illusion. But behind that calm face, the game is already over, and you've already lost. You just don't know it yet. A Sigma female doesn't need to win an argument. She lets people celebrate false victories while she quietly pulls the plug. You think you've silenced her, outsmarted her, or gotten under her skin, but all you've done is trigger her exit strategy. She starts removing your access in ways so smooth, so subtle you won't notice at first. The replies slow down. The tone changes. The warmth disappears. It's not attitude, it's deletion in progress. She knows that real power isn't about reacting. It's about choosing who gets to stay in your world. And when someone disrespects her, she doesn't need to destroy them. She just starts locking doors behind her. You think everything's fine because she hasn't exploded. You think you still have her in your corner because she's being cool about it. But what you don't see is that your name has already been crossed off the list. You're out, and the version of her you had access to, gone. The beauty in how she moves is that she doesn't chase closure. She doesn't try to fix the energy. She lets you walk away thinking you were right, thinking you handled her. And then, slowly but surely, you begin to notice what you've lost. The emotional connection dries up, the trust is gone, the support you once took for granted, missing. That's when it hits. She didn't raise her voice. She didn't throw blame. She didn't beg. She just faded with so much poise that you didn't even realize you were being erased. And by the time you do, you're already on the outside looking in. She let you think you won, but the real win was hers. Because she got free without giving you the satisfaction of seeing her fight for a place she never needed to stay in. Number 9. She makes disrespect expensive. Disrespecting a Sigma female is expensive, and not in a way that shows up on a receipt. It costs you access, loyalty, peace, and the kind of energy people spend years trying to find again. When someone crosses the line with her, they don't just lose her presence. They lose the entire experience of what it felt like to be around her. And that loss, it lingers. She doesn't shout about how valuable she is. She doesn't throw her worth in anyone's face. But the moment you treat her like she's replaceable, she'll make sure you find out just how costly that assumption was. Because here's the truth. Not everyone brings peace, emotional safety, and quiet strength into your life. Not everyone makes you feel like you're seen without having to explain yourself. When you disrespect a Sigma female, you don't just lose a person. You lose all of that too. And she won't warn you. She won't tell you, this is your last chance. She'll just change the locks and carry on. One minute you're in, the next you're out, and you don't even realize the price you've paid until you feel the gap her absence leaves behind. She knows that if you can't respect what she brings to the table, you don't deserve a seat at it. The way she moves makes people realize the value of things after they've already lost them. She's the kind of woman who won't let you realize her worth while she's arguing with you or trying to prove a point. No, she'll let the silence and her absence teach you. And that's the part people never forget. It's not what she said, it's what she took away. It costs something to have access to a Sigma female. Not money, but character, consistency, respect. The moment you stop paying in those currencies, she shuts down the account. She knows her value, and she's not offering discounts for anyone who thinks they can come and go as they please. Disrespect isn't just offensive to her, it's disqualifying. And once you've disqualified yourself, no apology in the world can buy your way back in. Number 10, she doesn't react. She records. She doesn't react. She records. That's what most people don't see coming. While everyone else is out here exploding over disrespect, she's taking mental notes. She's calm, collected, and deadly precise with her memory. You might think you got away with a slick comment, a shady move, or a quiet insult. But the Sigma female was watching, logging it all, and saving it for later. She doesn't believe in blowing up over every little thing. She's too smart for that. She knows that when someone shows you who they really are, the worst thing you can do is ignore it. But the second worst thing, reacting too quickly and giving them the upper hand. So instead, she stays quiet. On the outside, she seems unbothered, but inside, the evaluation has already begun. Every time you cross a line, she adds it to your file. Not to hold a grudge, but to recognize a pattern. One incident might not mean much. But when the same type of disrespect keeps showing up, she connects the dots. That's when she starts planning her exit. Not with noise, but with strategy. She's not reacting in the moment because she's thinking 5 steps ahead. And here's what makes her so different. She doesn't give warnings. She doesn't do second chances disguised as ultimatums. By the time you realize she's gone cold, it's too late. She gave you all the space to show who you really were. And now, based on everything you've shown her, she's decided you no longer deserve access to her energy. It's not emotional. It's calculated. She doesn't scream or cry when she's done. She detaches, quietly, completely. Because for her, disrespect isn't something to argue over, it's something to take seriously and respond to with long-term action. So while you were waiting for the explosion, she was already preparing the exit. The scariest part, she never forgets. And once your name is on that mental list of people she no longer trusts, there's no coming back. You weren't blocked or cursed out, you were observed, judged, and silently removed. That's her way. And honestly, it's the kind of response that leaves a mark far deeper than words ever could. Number 11. She makes you a non-player in her universe. She doesn't argue, she doesn't beg, and she doesn't try to make you understand what you did wrong. When a Sigma female feels disrespected, she simply takes you out of her universe. You don't get blocked in a dramatic way or cursed out in a fit of rage. No, she just stops seeing you as someone who matters. You go from someone she cared about to someone who doesn't even register. Not an enemy, not a threat, just nothing. And that's the part that hits the hardest. There's no warning when it happens. She just shifts. You might still have her number. You might still be around her. But you're not in her life anymore. She stops sharing, stops reaching out, stops responding with that same warmth. Her energy doesn't meet you halfway anymore. It doesn't even show up. You've become a non-player in her world, a name she doesn't mention, a memory she doesn't revisit. And the wild part? She doesn't need you to notice. She's not doing it for attention or to make a point. She's doing it for peace. Because once someone shows her they don't respect her place in their life, she erases them from hers, not to hurt them, but to protect herself. You don't get to stay in her orbit if you don't treat her with basic decency. She won't make a show of cutting you off. She'll just move on, quietly and completely. You'll realize you're out when you start reaching for her and find nothing, no reaction, no welcome, no softness, just silence. And not the kind of silence that waits to be broken, but the kind that means it. To the Sigma female, being unbothered is more powerful than being loud. Her revenge isn't in the words she says, it's in how fast she stops needing you. You can try to apologize, make jokes, even pretend like nothing happened. But once she's decided you're no longer part of her inner world, it's over. You don't get to come back. She's already rewritten the script, and your role, canceled without a single scene left. Number 12. She treats disrespect as a reflection of your upbringing, not her worth. When someone disrespects a Sigma female, she doesn't question her worth. She doesn't sit around wondering what she did wrong or how she could have made someone treat her better. That's not how her mind works. Instead, she looks at the person and sees the disrespect for what it really is. A reflection of them, not her. In her world, how someone behaves says more about how they were raised, what they've been through, and the standards they hold for themselves. It has nothing to do with her value. She understands that not everyone grew up with emotional intelligence. Some people were raised on power games, manipulation, or chaos. Some only know how to communicate through control or cruelty. So when someone crosses the line with her, she doesn't absorb the insult, she observes it. She recognizes that the way they treat people is likely how they've always operated, and she just happened to be next in line. But she won't stay there. The Sigma female refuses to wear someone else's dysfunction like it's her own flaw. She doesn't internalize disrespect as rejection. She sees it as exposure. You showed your character, not hers. So while some people spiral trying to figure out how to fix it, she walks away, knowing it was never hers to fix in the first place. And the beautiful part, she doesn't let it make her bitter. She doesn't let one person's lack of respect turn her cold. She simply adjusts. She closes the door. She pulls back her energy, but she does it with clarity, not anger. Because once she identifies that your behavior is rooted in your upbringing or unresolved issues, she doesn't want to be anywhere near that mess. Not because she hates you, but because she loves her peace more. People often expect a woman to break when disrespected. They expect self-doubt, tears, or begging, but the Sigma female doesn't break. She understands, and then she exits. Not because she thinks she's better than you, but because she refuses to shrink into a space where disrespect is normalized. She knows her worth is not up for debate, and definitely not shaped by someone who never learned how to treat people right. A Sigma female doesn't handle disrespect the way most people expect, because she's not driven by ego, revenge, or the need to prove herself. She's driven by clarity, precision, peace. She doesn't react, she responds. And her response is always rooted in self-respect, not emotional chaos. She won't clap back to make noise. She deletes access and moves in silence. She won't try to teach you how to treat her. She simply removes herself from the equation. She doesn't explode, she evolves. And while you're still trying to figure out what happened, she's already 5 steps ahead, healing in spaces you no longer have permission to enter. To her, disrespect is never just about the words. It's about what those words reveal. And once she sees the truth behind them, there's no going back. No second chances, no emotional discounts. You don't get to stay in her life after mishandling her presence. What makes her different isn't how loud she reacts. It's how quietly she resets the terms. She doesn't punish. She replaces. She doesn't lash out. She lets life handle it. And she does all of this while staying calm, collected, and unbothered, because being grounded in who you are is the sharpest clapback of all. So the next time someone underestimates her, thinks she's too calm or too quiet to respond, they're already losing access, and they don't even know it. Because with a Sigma female, disrespect doesn't lead to drama, it leads to disappearance. If you've ever witnessed it, you know, she doesn't fight for a seat at the wrong table, she builds her own. If this spoke to you in any way, if you felt seen, understood, or even just a little more powerful, don't keep it to yourself. Hit that subscribe button so you never miss content that dives deep and tells it like it is. Like the video if it opened your eyes. Comment below, what part hit hardest for you? I'd love to hear your thoughts. And most importantly, share this with someone who needs to be reminded of their power, or who needs to understand that silence can be louder than any scream. This isn't just a channel, it's a movement, so stick around, you belong here.